love going to the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and one of the things that amazes me is the race cars, the bench seats that they have in the cars, and how just raw the race cars were back in the day. That's not the case anymore. Tony Gibson is the production manager here at Stewart-Haas Racing, and Tony, no more bench seats, not even bucket seats. Yeah. These interior of these cars are specially built for each of the drivers.
Yeah, they are, and you know, the window nets are pretty standard. NASCAR regulates the window nets, how they need to mount to the upper bar, to the halo bar, and to the door bar now. So that's pretty much standard on everybody's cars. What is different is NASCAR gives us an area to work in for the mirrors, for the review. A lot of guys, what you see on TV, the guys like these side mirrors. We can use these up, down. We can put different sizes on here. NASCAR lets us work within this area. Because the drivers, some guy wants a round mirror, some guys wants a square mirror. So that's some things that change from driver to driver. And some of the other things would be the headrest. So a lot of the guys like the headrest. You know, NASCAR mandates that we do have a headrest built in certain foam regulations, and that we have to have fire retardant. But each driver is a little different as far as the length of these sideboards on the headrest. So, you know, the driver wants his a little shorter. If you got a different height driver, or a driver can't get his hand up to wave, this length right here can change. The width will change this way based off the driver's size and helmet. So, but you know, NASCAR does a very good job of making sure no matter what the size of the driver is driving, that it suits his size, and it always is compliance with NASCAR rules. So they do a very good job at it. You know, the steering wheel, obviously the steering wheel size is not mandated by NASCAR, but the couplers and the steering wheel itself is mandated by NASCAR. So you may have a driver our four drivers are totally different. You know, one has a 14, one has a 14 and a half, one's got a 15-inch wheel, one's got a 13 and a half inch wheel. So this can change the size and the offset of the steering wheel, but NASCAR regulates the thickness of the steering wheel, what it's made out of, and the coupler. All that stuff has to be SFI approved through NASCAR. The switches are another thing. You know, these have come a really long way with the switches. We used to have 2 switches back in the day, you know. Now we got up to 10 or 11 switches, and all of these switches, you know, are pretty important. You know, they'll have front brake blowers. We can regulate the right front to the left front. We have gear fans that we can run. We have pumps. We have a radiator fan. We have the ignition. We have the fuel shut off. You know, we can take and turn our alternators off. So all this stuff has just gone haywire over the last few years. You know, a guy gets down to the last 3 laps, he wants to shut his alternator on, he can hit a switch, shut the alternator off where it's not drawing any power, and it gives us another 2 or 3 horsepower. So those are the things that are crazy. So when you look at a driver's dash, they're getting so complex, it's unbelievable. We have the main cutoff switch. Now, this is one thing that you will notice that is in the same spot on everybody's car. NASCAR mandates that shutoff switch is red, and it's labeled, and it's this part of the dash. That being because of the safety workers. As we go to different racetracks and the safety workers are different, they all know that that switch is going to be in the same spot. Every car, it's the red switch, and it's got to be labeled. That's something that we cannot change. One of the other things that changes is the brake bias knob. You've seen that from in-car cameras. Guys can turn this silver knob that says right, rear, and front. So a guy can change his balance or his bias up to 1% pretty quick. He just pumps the pedal a little bit, turns that knob, and he can make a huge difference in the balance of his race car over the race. That is not mandated where we run that knob. We can move that towards wherever the driver prefers. So that's one of the things. Same thing with the shifter. The shifter is something that we can make out of carbon fiber, we can make out of aluminum, we can make it out of steel. NASCAR really doesn't mandate that, and the shape and the angle of that changes. The only thing NASCAR does make us have is a fire retardant boot that goes on there, that it seals good so fire can't get up in there. I know the leg braces. The leg braces have been crucial over the years on keeping the driver's legs inside this little cocoon. These leg braces, the height of those can change, the width can change based off the driver. This is what they call a knee knocker here. Basically what that does, it keeps the driver's legs separated. So if they were to get in the crash, your left leg can't slam into your right leg. It kind of keeps it separated. Some drivers run those and some do not. Most of them do nowadays, but that's just some things right there that are different And it just keeps evolving as NASCAR gets, you know, more and more with the safety and the drivers get involved. All this stuff just keeps getting ramped up.
Absolutely amazing, and a lot of this safety initiatives, but some of it from the switches from a performance perspective as well. So many details inside the race cars. This is not your dad's NASCAR car or favorite car that might be on display at the Hall of Fame. This is a lot going on in a small area here inside a NASCAR Cup Series car.